not perfect, but they make ends meet. They work hard. They have a modest lifestyle. They have two young children, ages 1 and 4. Recently, she discovered something that she describes as shocking. Her husband's card and comic book collection, something he's guarded since they met, is worth $2.5 million. He's been collecting for over 25 years, a passion he inherited from his late father, and he still holds on to some of his dad's collection. When she brought up selling it, thinking of all the ways they could improve their family's life, he refused, saying the collection isn't about money, but more so about emotional value. To him, it's a legacy he plans to pass down to their children. Now she's struggling with reality that they're sitting on a fortune, yet still living paycheck to paycheck. Should she accept his emotional attachment, or does he owe it to their family to cash in? What would you guys do? Is he being unreasonable, or should sentimental value come before financial security?
All right. So before they say anything, I'd like to just ask a question, right? And before they say and they chime in, right? In general terms, does the wife have a point in being concerned that he's sitting on that money?
No.
Okay. Why would you say that? Or does it depend on the kind of relationship they have?
No. The kind of relationship doesn't, for me, it doesn't matter, because I'm looking at it like this. They're not destitute. From what the woman said, they, are in a position where they're able to meet their bills and, do what they need to do. So you have what you need. Might not necessarily be what you want, but you have what you need.
Okay.
So a lot of people aren't in that position. So, count your blessings. Another thing is, where did she come up with this $2.5 million? As far as the value, like, I mean, when you're talking about comic books and baseball cards and that kind of stuff, that, is real specific. So it's, a certain group of people you need to go to find out what your stuff is worth. And then plus that costs money. So these people are just going to talk to you for free. So, ma'am, did you spend money to try to find out how much this stuff was worth, or are you just taking somebody's word for it?
Well, or did in a matter of conversation, did he tell her, oh, by the way, she may say, what's all these things you have? Now, we're assuming it's just cards and comic books. Let's just say there's a whole bunch of collectibles that he's been doing, all right? Mm-hmm. So you're right. Somebody had to do an appraisal to say it was worth $2.5 million. My assumption was that he told her.
Okay.
Okay. But you just still right, because that's my assumption that he told her, but that's not what was said. So let's just say she said, what's all that worth? He said, it's worth around $2.5 million. My father passed it down to me. Now the fact that she knows, right, that how much the collection is worth, does she consider the modest lifestyle that they're living? They could pay for their lifestyle, but does she consider that struggle now, right? Because she got this recent information. If she tipping over like, damn, I still got to work. I got the kids. I got this. And you sitting on 2.5 million. I could just, maybe I could cut back on the hours. We got a 5-year-old, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Is she thinking that in her head? Is that one of her?
She is.
Okay.
She is. Thing is, it could have been worth 2.5 million when whoever told her that at that time.
Okay.
We all know just because you paid something for it, that don't mean when you get ready to sell it, that's what it's gonna be worth. And if we're gonna be honest, $2.5 million after you pay associated fees, because you're not just gonna sell it, you need a broker, they have to get their piece, taxes, this, that, whatever. It's not gonna be $2.5 million. And realistically, for a family of 4, I'm not, I don't know what their lifestyle is or any of that. How far is that really going?
Well, let me put it this way. I know when she first started talking, they could pay the bills, but just like everybody else, when I say everybody else, a lot of people in America live in check to check. Mm-hmm. So I would imagine they could pay their bills. They probably have a modest savings and all this kind of stuff. But most people ain't sitting on 2.5 million. That changes a mindset. right?
Yeah.
It does.
I mean,
Even if you,
I get it. I mean, for me, if this is something that started with his father, I'm just gonna kind of take it in a different, take it down a different road. Since this started with his father, this is not really for me. If it was me in the situation, that's not really something I feel like as the wife I would be entitled to.
but we are in America.
I understand. Maybe I'm a different breed, but I mean, because we don't know if the dad's gone on to glory or whatnot. But if this
he did pass away
for me, then who am I to say you need to just scrap it for my benefit?
Well, okay. Listen, as a husband, you're not married. Are you married?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So, but as a husband, I wouldn't take. It depends on what kind of woman you have.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't take the inquiry at face value as something negative. It depends on how she reacts to that, right? So we're gonna have more of this because we're gonna go dig deeper that. You got some folks saying hello, Yeah. So I just wanted to hit some of them. Hey, Through the Fire podcast is up here. There was a super chat. Let me hit this right. Hey, that's for the $2 to the channel. I appreciate that. Through the Fire podcast. Hey, listen, so let's go ahead and let's hear a little bit more. So those are the first two questions. Let's hear a little bit more when other people start answering the question, So here we go.
I'll go last.
I feel like I already know your take on it, to be honest. But
let's hear yours.
Just to clarify, they're living paycheck to paycheck.
According to her.
According to her. Okay, so according to her, they're living paycheck to... Is that empty, girl? Oh, okay. Okay, so according to her, they're living paycheck to paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they're behind on finances.
She said they live modestly, they make ends meet, but from what I gather, it's like maybe there's not a lot of cushion or not a lot of room for like doing extra stuff.
So not struggling.
Right.
Not like struggling paycheck to paycheck, but not she could be doing or they could be doing better.
Right.
Okay.
I feel like in that case, there can be a compromise here. I think she can leave that man alone until they come to a point where they're struggling, so that he knows that when that time comes, he's going to have to give that up. But for right now, she could leave him alone with his sentimental value.
All right. So I wanted to stop there because I had a couple other questions on the, and I'm a key in on the word compromise. Okay. Is there a compromise to be negotiated right off the rip before we know anything else? Is there a compromise that he should be considering as her husband, or should he stand 10 toes down?
So for me, if something should happen, somebody gets sick, something happens to one of the kids, storm comes through, we're in a situation where, we need, access to a substantial amount of, cash that we, don't otherwise have access to, then maybe sell a portion, sell enough for us to get what we need. I can see that. But other than that, again, living paycheck to paycheck doesn't necessarily mean that once you pay your bills, you got $10 to work with till you get paid again. It could be instead of going to Mastro's, you might need to go to Outback. Right. That could be your living paycheck to paycheck. Instead of going to see Mary J. and Martin, you decide which one you want to go to that month. It just depends. But my thing was what the key in on what the chick with the red hair was talking. Why are we anticipating struggle?
I guess
why are we anticipating something happening that this man can't guide you through? You've been with him long enough to have 2 babies and they 3 years apart. He been guiding you somewhere. So why would we abandon the mindset of he got me?
Yeah. Well,
if something happens, then okay, if we don't have any other recourse, then you might have to sell something. But I don't think if that man is moving the way that it sounds like he is, and this wasn't an issue until she found out how much it was worth. If something happened, he already know what he gonna do to get them through.
Absolutely.
So leave all of that in the attic or the basement or safety deposit box or wherever that is, and let that man be a man.
Well, I agree with you. And the reason why we're talking about this and the reason why the red-haired lady is saying what she's saying, because I think that I don't want to say every, but in the back of a woman's mind, if she's doing 9 to 5 like you are, and she knows, and whether she's a modern woman and all that kind of stuff, I think that struggle is just an interpretation, right? I mean, you live in paycheck to paycheck, and you can pay your bills. To a man, we're getting it done. We both got to work, but to her, we'll say, it's paycheck to paycheck. I can get that extra dress, I can chill out a little bit. Why are we doing a little struggle of, even though we can afford it? I gotta contribute half all of that. Plus, I gotta look at the kids.
Right. We don't know what she's contributing. She could be working 15 hours a week and acting like that's too much. So again, if you don't have to worry about the lights being turned off, you don't have to worry about not having anything to eat, you don't have to worry about, the sheriff coming with a foreclosure notice. You're good, and you've been that way, and you are able to move. Again, you had 2 babies and they 3 years apart. The man been doing something.
Well, and yeah, right. So you
leave it alone.
Just because does that knowledge mean you trust him less now? You know what I'm saying?
No, because that really didn't have anything to do with me, because that started way before.
Right. So let me ask you a question. You think she knew? Well, obviously she didn't know until after they were married the value of it. She might have known he had some kind of collection, but she didn't know the value. And let's go ahead and continue just a little bit more, because I'm gonna stop it real quick. You're like less than a minute, because there's another question that comes up right after that, real quick.
Okay.
And his dad's dead, so that's also part of it.
She just discovered this? Is that what was part of the
Yeah. As of late.
It said recently discovered.
I'm curious as to how she figured this out. Was she snooping, or did it come out in an argument? I feel like that could be a factor.
What I'm thinking is that she probably knew that he collected, because it's hard to collect that much stuff, amass
not
that
know
much
about
stuff.
it.
Somebody
She
not know
probably
about
just came across the value of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking she.
All right, so I just wanted to hit that point. Does it matter how she found out?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Give me some. What do you mean? Why do you think that?
If it was a conversation that if she just casually was like, on some, I don't know why it would take, you being married and you got, seeing these babies, to now would have interest in his hobby, to start asking questions. That's a whole different story. But I mean, if it was just a conversation, hey, you've been doing this for a while, what do you get out of it? So forth and so on. And they just started talking, and he, mentions, this is worth A, B, C, D. Then that's one thing. If she got somebody in her ear,
okay,
like girl, I don't know how to y'all know how we can do it times.
So
Girl,
that's
we trying to go to Atlanta, and he up there, playing with them comic books, and I'm just saying the money he putting into that, you could have been using to come on this trip, and we wouldn't have to go without you, and this and that and the woo. And then she started asking questions. Then it wasn't on some, I'm trying to connect with you because this is something that you're interested in. This is on some, I'm gonna make you feel bad because I can't go do what I want to do.
Oh, hold on, Armanai. Let me. You brought something up. Can she keep the fact that she knows what he's sitting on private between her and him?
No.
She shouldn't, or she wouldn't.
She should, but she won't. But because it sounds like she really doesn't understand. Because when you get into collector's items and all that different kind of stuff, it's some nuts out here, and they found out you had this stuff. And think it's in your house, they will run up in your house. She could be putting everybody in, depending on what he has.
That's what I'm saying.
She could be putting everybody in danger by running her mouth.
Absolutely.
That's what she doing.
Excuse me for covering you up. Here's what Trey, of course, we have to put a Treyism up here. Right? Black women don't understand the value. She found out it was worth $2.5 million, and immediately she wanted to sell it. you know, black women are shit with money. I had to put a Treyism up there, whether it's true or not.
Child,
You
gotta
know,
love Trey. Well, my
you're-
thing is,
well,
so
he's been absent for a little while, so I had to put a little Treyism up there. Hey, 18, thanks for showing up. She said hello. Travel one's here. Just stick the knife in the back over here anytime you can. Go ahead. Say what you gonna say.
last thing you want to do is put money in black women's hands and have like. Okay, some black women don't know what to do with money, Trey. Because my question is, if it's worth 2.5 now, by the time you give it to these kids, how much is it gonna be worth then?
Right. That's
Because then
exactly.
you might be able to, you know what I'm saying, leverage that to do something else and already have that paid back, you know what I'm saying, in no time. It just depends on what it is. I mean, like if he got like a first edition, you know, some kind of Batman or something like that, like people have died for that. So, I mean, that would make sense. It just depends on what it is. But again, this started with his father. So this was before he even met her. Now, depending on how much he has added to it during the course of the marriage, then she might have, you know what I'm saying, something she can complain about. But again, you already said y'all are not destitute. You know what I'm saying? You able to do what you need to do and take care of your kids. So, I mean, really, what more are we asking for?
You know, it's so funny that you brought up, depending on how much he added to it, because there's a question about that coming up. Not right away, but it's coming. That's going to be part of the discussion. You know, what did she add to? You know, what did he add to it? You know, how much of their marital money did he put added? The other thing you talked about was leverage, right? So, in order to leverage that, if it's worth that much, you get an appraiser, and they say, "Well, listen, you could borrow, say, 500 grand." But you can't borrow 500 grand so y'all can go to Venice and hang out. You're going to be putting it into some real estate, something that's going to give you a return on investment so you can pay that loan back, correct?
Right.
So, yeah. So I'm not so sure that's what she's thinking about. So let's go ahead and continue. It's a couple of minutes this time. And there's a couple of questions that will come up after the next 2.5 minutes.
She just found out how much it's worth. That's my assumption. Because it doesn't say. I do get the part that, you know, it's related to his dad, so.
Women love to live on somebody else's shit, bro. This is fucking crazy. I just don't get it. I mean, my thing is that collection is his collection passed down from his father. Also, in addition to whatever he's been able to acquire, although they're not struggling, they could live better. They could be thriving. But I don't think that he should sacrifice it right now. That makes no sense. He's gonna sacrifice it. My thing is, one, you were cool until you found it. Like there was no fucking issues, right? Now you find something that is his, that is worth some money, and now you want for him to cash out so he can, I guess, provide more. But for what? Like my whole thing is like, if he does this and God forbid y'all break up, I just sold my sentimental value that's attached to my own collection, my father's collection, you know, to provide for a life, and we're not even together. I just think it's crazy because when you really think about it, a lot of times women operate on survival. No matter how much money they have, they still operating on survival in some way, shape, form. Protection, survival, providing, survival. They're operating from survival. So you're surviving. Chill out. You don't need to, like, you're surviving, you're good. Like you can be better. But to be honest, I believe if you don't have the money, it's because you don't know what to do with the money yet. You're gonna sell it and then what? Burn through it? Y'all never even had the money. So, you know, I just don't understand why we have to go to that now. If you're about to lose your house, you're struggling, your car's getting repossessed. Now it's time for a compromise. But right now, work a little bit harder, figure some shit out, and stay out that man's collection. That's my opinion.
Also, what about if he wanted to continue the tradition with his kids?
That's what he said.
Oh, he did?
He wants to pass it
Yeah, he
down.
wants to pass
So
it down.
then I think that's the sentimental value that's going to be passed on. So now you're
All right, so that's where I want to stop it. We got some questions now, right? So he said, my man said enough. Okay, so first, let's deal with what my man in the white said. Is it true that women love to live off of other people's, men's particularly, shit?
Yes, absolutely. That's ingrained in us from the time we can walk. Why spend my money when I can spend yours?
Okay. I would imagine anybody in the chat, if you have something against that one, I think it's kind of true. But some of it is something that men naturally understand, right? It's not all nefarious, right? I mean, if you gotta, I've been married, I take care of the finances, even though we didn't have that conversation. She used to work. She doesn't have. She still works now, but not sustainable. It's just so she could have pocket change. But I pay the finances, but she does everything else.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So men kind of understand if you got it, you're gonna invest into your family, your future, your children, and all that kind of stuff. So it's not really that. So what my man said sounds kind of bad the way he said it, but yeah, if you're gonna cleave to a woman, she's gonna expect more from you than than you might be thinking. And finances is one of them. That's how I feel. But that could just be me. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that per se. It's just how you build it. The other question I have is, do you think his wife all of a sudden now thinks she's living in survival mode, as opposed to knowing that she could be living in somewhat a little bit lavish lifestyle, or a little bit of luxury, because she's sitting on 2.5 mil?
Okay.
Now all of a sudden, check survival mode.
I don't. It does from the very beginning. The way she was the lady was reading. It doesn't sound like they're in survival mode. Survival mode is when you got to figure out you got disconnection notices coming, and you got to figure out who's not gonna get paid, so I can buy some time over here. That's survival mode. You and your husband being able to pay your bills and take care of your kids, and nobody's starving, and nobody's walking around with holes in their shoes. That ain't survival.
Well, okay, but just subtle the way I asked the question. I agree with you, but the fact that she knows just sitting on that little nest egg, does she consider now check to check survival?
Probably.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Probably.
So that's what I was saying. She said, "Oh, listen, why am I doing all this? You could provide a little bit more, even if we don't need it. Can we live just a little bit better?" Right.
So then my question would be, okay, let's say the house catches on fire and it all burn up tomorrow. Now what?
Now what?
Now what we doing?
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna come to that. Where do we keep
you
this?
Gonna be good because now that 2.5 is gone.
That's gone. Nobody's taking care of it. But we're gonna come to that question of where do we keep it later on. We're gonna come to that question. Okay. And so that's good. The last question is this: in this little segment at the end, they talk about passing it down. Right? We're talking about passing it down. Do women care about legacy as much as men do?
No.
Okay. I don't think so either, but why do you think they don't? And you know what? I got all girls, and I say the same thing to them. I said, what do y'all think about legacy? They look at me like I'm crazy. What do you think? Why? Why do women care about? Don't care about as much.
Let me. I'm not gonna say we don't care at all, but I
didn't mean it that way.
In my experience, it depends on what it is.
Okay. Well, okay. What do you mean by that? It's not an easy question. Okay.
We tend to care more about the legacy when it's something that can be seen by everybody. Like, let's see, he has the comic book collection. Let's say your great grandmother had this 10-carat diamond ring. Let's just say something fantastic happened, and her husband was able to buy her that, and then it passed to your grandma. Then your grandma passed it to your mama, and then you would expect for your mama to pass it to you. So, you know what I'm saying? You want to keep that legacy going because that's something big and shiny that everybody can see. But let's say, for instance, making macaroni and cheese and sweet potato casserole was a legacy that started with your great grandmama as well. But you don't want to do that now because that's too much work.
I hear you. So, I know we got some folks in the chat kind of.
It kind of just depends on what it is. If it's something that you're saying is gonna keep the oohs and the eyes and the attention, then we down for it. But if it's just something as far as this is what happened in my family through the generations, You might keep it, you might not.
Well, so let's dig a little deeper with that question. Let's mine it a little bit more. Is it more important for men to have children with their women to pass things to, or for women to think legacy is bloodline going down through the ages? Because that collection goes hand in hand. A man want to give it to his probably thinking sons, but if he only has daughters, you know what I'm saying? So do women look at children and the legacy that way, even though when a woman has a kid, the baby, we know the baby's hers, right? You know, but men seem to care about the legacy of the bloodline more than women do. I don't know if that's true or not, but we're talking legacy by having children and passing it down, not just the value of that collection. It's giving something. So from if I don't want to get biblical, but in the Bible, right, they're talking about being able to give your grandchildren's legacy. You know, not just you. So I don't, I'm not saying he was thinking about it that way, but from a man's perspective, maybe that's the way he's looking at it. His father sure was looking at it that way.
Yeah. I mean, it could be because since, men are producers, when you're, Pat, that's, we're going to use this as an example. His dad passing that to him was like, this is, I created this, I started this, now I'm going to bring it to you. You add your piece in. And so this is what we created. Then you move it to your son. Then they add their piece, and you just can keep seeing it build and grow.
But Trey, you know what Trey said? If it goes to your daughters, they're selling that shit right away.
Depends on what kind of job you do with your daughters. Because I mean, if it was my dad, because it's only me and my sister. My dad doesn't have any other kids, so there's no son. So if in this situation, it would pass to me. I wouldn't sell it.
But Travel One even has some disagreements with you about she's Batman centered. Do you know Travel One? You seen her around before?
Yeah, I'm familiar with Travel One. Travel One, I'm good. Trust. I'm good.
All right, so let's continue. Thanks for the good comments.
Hold on. Trey. Okay, let's say the man. Can we just go here for 1 second, Mr. Payne?
Yeah.
We stuck on this 2.5. Let's say he was like, all right, we're gonna go ahead and sell this, and they go to a broker, and the broker shop it around, and he come back and say, look, the best I can do is $805,000. Now what? Okay. You was banking on $2.5 million, but this man telling you I can get you 805, and I'm gonna take my 20% off of that, and then y'all work with the rest. Now what?
But if you look at what he said, right, in terms of she's gonna divorce him, is that the one you're looking at?
Yeah.
All right, so she's gonna divorce him and walk away with. Listen, at this point.
So he gonna have to use some of her 1.5 to pay them lawyers fees and stuff. So she gonna get that 1.25.
But let me put it to you this way. And I don't want to disparage because this is all hypothetical, because she might love the guy. She's gonna go with what he says. But in today's market, maybe the question would be, is a woman who is even questioning this more likely to say, shit, I could divorce this guy, no fault divorce. And even if there's only 500,000 left, I'm better off than I was before. Because I have the money, I have the kids.
It's been said and it's been proven in most cases. It ain't true.
I'll have the money, whatever's left. I'll have the kids, and I'll have the asshole paying child support on top of that. And there go his card collection, and whatever he got out of it, I'm still sucking on the tit of that. So that's the way America is working right now. Especially if he doesn't have a prenup that put that collection in some kind of trust or something. Yeah. He should have, if he doesn't have a prenup or a trust about it, now that she knows, he's got to be on eggshells. I got to keep this woman loving me for the rest of my life, or else she's going to take everything I work for and get on the circuit talking about happiness. I'm not happy. I graduated. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to disparage all women, but he's in danger. I think he's in danger of losing everything.
He could be, and he also could be let me back up. His dad could be 3 steps ahead of both of them, and it is locked up. You know what I'm saying? In some kind of trust or something where he really can't sell it.
Well, you know, even though that's a
Okay,
possibility.
travel 1 year. A prenup can be contested. That doesn't mean it's gonna be thrown
That's
out.
right. That's exactly right. All right, so let's get.
I've written too many that have gone through.
It's so funny. I mean, like I said, this little conversation, we could go so many different places with it. It's great, you know. So I thought it was good. So let's continue.
You're basically taking that away from your kids. It's
But
not-
to play devil's advocate, at some point the shit gotta get sold, right? So
yeah.
But
And somebody gonna sell it.
somebody,
Yeah.
and it's probably gonna be the kids,
Yeah.
or the kids, right? And we don't know who.
Or somebody with a drug problem.
Goddamn.
We're putting drugs on.
We'll cross that
saying.
line if we get there.
Somebody with a drug problem, a gambling problem, a debt chore problem, something.
I think that's tough now that if she says something to him. Did she say something to him already?
Y'all better
Scared to
y'all
say
need to
something to him.
put y'all listening ears on. It said when she brought up selling it,
That's what she
hold on,
did.
he's been collecting for over 25 years, blah blah blah. So she did bring up selling it.
So now that's in the back of his mind forever now. Like now,
And hers, yeah.
yeah, that's a fight.
No, it's over.
All right, so
Yeah,
just
they're in trouble.
see, there you go. That's the quick question I wanted to get to. Now that she knows, there's no unknowing it,
Mm-mm.
right?
No.
Right. So now it really rests on what kind of woman she is. And I don't think we're going to get that through the rest of this conversation. But so we can assume both sides. That she's a good woman and she says, I'm going to follow this guy. Or she's a woman of, you know, as soon as this guy pisses me off enough, I could use the one bullet I have in my gun to threaten him.
Yeah. Well, actually, the fact that she wrote in and is asking these four about what to do kind of gives us a little bit of insight into what kind of woman she is. At least for me.
So we assume that they got this whole scenario from her.
Yeah. I would.
So that does give you a something.
She keep, you know what I'm saying? She keep, doing this with the phone. I'm just saying.
So that be the case, you just made a statement that gives you some kind of indication what kind of woman she is. What kind of woman do you think she is based on that assertion that she sent this scenario in? Is she fishing for an answer, or way in or way out?
She's gonna try to force him to sell it, but she's looking for backup. It's almost like she reminds me of. Do you remember a couple months ago? Well, actually, it's actually been about a year where the woman she actually these same four came on and was asking if she was wrong. She had over the course of the marriage, she was a stay-at-home wife because they didn't have any kids. And so she was ciphering money from her husband and had stacked about $47,000.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Got hurt at work and lost his job and had all these medical bills and surgery and all of that. And she would not come off that $47,000, so he ended up leaving her.
Wow. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of scenarios like that. Yeah, I mean, well, that's a whole nother story. But if he didn't have any indication of what kind of woman she was before, he
probably
her.
Did and didn't care. Yeah, this is why I have problems with you, men, Mr. Payne. Just a quick second.
Let us have it. Go ahead.
We let y'all know what it is. I'm just going. We at some point unless it was some of this. They met and 6 months later they was married and really didn't know each other and all this different kind of stuff. We don't know. I'm just saying, if you have any kind of courtship process, we let you know what time it is.
I agree. I agree
100%. Again, she had to let somewhere in the course of this relationship, she had to be about some, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and he ignored it.
I want to live it up. You know what I'm saying? I want to see what the luxury life is like. We gonna be a power couple. We gonna do this. We gonna do that. It's gonna be this. Woo, 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 woo. She, one day was like, I don't want to be okay no more. I want to, you know what I'm saying? see what's up with this 2.5. Because she didn't say, yo, sell some of it. She said sell it all. See what I'm saying?
All right.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we gonna sell it all.
There you go.
So, I mean, we let y'all know what it is.
Yeah, he knows.
You know what I'm saying? She showed him what time it was, and he let it ride. Then, sir, if she went, not if, when, because see, she done got other people involved, and we on the internet talking about it. She gonna try to press this man to sell this stuff, or it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't have no argument
So,
there. Listen, everybody out there, make sure you hit the like button. You know, send a cash out for the network.
Absolutely.
Make sure you hit that like button.
So it's gonna be a problem. But again, if it was on the shoe was on the other foot and she had something, let's say she had a painting.
Okay.
Let's say her great granddaddy, you know what I'm saying, got this Rembrandt from somewhere and didn't know what it was. And it went down through the years, and let's say her last parent, has gone on to glory, and they cleaned out the house, and the husband's like, I kind of like that, and they get it off the wall, and a friend come by the house and be like, yo, that's a Rembrandt, right? And they do all this research, and it's worth $6 million. Would she sell it? If he was like, yo, wait, listen, you go ahead and we can sell this painting and take this money and we can flip it and we can get this property and we can build it up and we can do this and we can do that and the woo, man, would you sell it to finance that?
Well, you asking me or with the man?
I'm saying for her, that's what I would ask her. If the shoe was on the other foot and you was the one sitting on these millions, would you sell your item or items?
Here's what I think would happen. Okay.
And because at this point you commingling funds. So once you sell that and stick it in y'all account, that ain't your money no more. That's y'all money.
Well, let me put it this way. I think what would happen is that if the man was able to get her to sell that Rembrandt, that there'll be a certain amount of money that's going to go to a lifestyle as opposed to being invested.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So then you look up 3 years later, Rembrandt gone for one. Everybody in the family mad at you because you sold it, and then now you got nothing to show for it.
Well, it depends on what you invested in.
No, if you just did to your lifestyle, there's no investment.
Well, that's true.
Because you want to go to France, so you can go to Hermes and get right.
Okay, but I think the woman would be happy about that.
I mean, again, you can get to France without selling our family possessions. Trust me.
That's true. All right, so
you can do that. But again, if that's all you're doing, so now you got these kids that don't have any legacy because you sold it.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's one thing if you keep it and then the kids sell it. Because now us Gen X, we know about them boomers selling up everything, and then we didn't have we know all about that. That's real. But I mean, again, that would be on the kids. You did what you were supposed to do, and then you can do about that. But
I gotta protect the boomers. We're gonna leave you guys more wealth than ever in transfer. So that's another thing.
Mr. Payne, you might be good, but your friends was out there selling up all the soon as the stuff came through probate, they was gonna phone with the real estate man. They were selling off everything.
There's truth to it. Okay, that's
fight that you're never gonna win.
So here's my take. They've only been married 5 years. This is something that he inherited prior to marriage. So these are, I would imagine the majority of it was a premarital asset.
Mm-hmm.
So in no way is he obligated to like split it or do, whatever. However, I would be interested to know how much money he spent since they've been together acquiring these comic books and cards or whatever. So that would actually be my first question. Like, how much of our disposable income, which clearly isn't that much, that you've been spending on these little books and cards and shit, like you a 12-year-old.
Man, obviously, if they were $2.5 million, they ain't little books.
I don't think he's under any obligation to sell it at this point, regardless of sentimental value, which I understand. But I know how it feels for them bills to be on your head. Like, you ever see somebody that got like a good spades hand? They just drop them hoes like this. Like, that's how the bills be on you. So I get where she's coming from, but it would really be up to him and like having a desire to do more for his family, having a desire for his family to, you know, do more than live paycheck to paycheck.
All right. So I want to stop it there. Okay. One, I don't agree with her that it's up to him if they're married and he doesn't have it all safe, premarital, a prenup, or something before. Because as soon as they get married, because this ties to the second question, how much did he continue to put into that investment while they were married? That makes it almost makes it community property, right? Depending on what state you're in.
Yeah.
Or at least that portion of it, right? So if he, and it, depending on what the collectibles are, I mean, he's mixing and mingling what's 50% hers into that. It was into that whole thing. So, you know, nowhere until, and this is not part of the question, that he had a prenup. So I'm assuming he doesn't have one. That's the assumption I have, that he has no protection over this collection. So I think it's all, most of it is in jeopardy. And if he's adding more to it based on whatever percentage of his income into it, God, you know, I've seen enough lead attorney to know they might have put the whole thing in jeopardy.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so, you know, so he's, I mean, he's got to be, he should be on pins and needles. You know, and he's got to be, ooh, baby, love you, baby. You know, let me keep you
happy. That still might not be enough, because she got in her mind, she got in her mind, I'm gonna get this $2.5 million.
What an idiot! Oh, Jesus Christ! And yeah, you're right. So we don't have to linger on. I think we know, we understand that part. Let's keep going.
Okay.
Because at some point, as an adult, you have to make tough decisions to support the family that you've created.
He is supporting the family.
You can't be out here telling John that, oh, we can't send you to that math camp because we ain't got it, but you sitting on $2.5 million.
Who said that was going on?
But you don't want to send your son to math camp?
Why are we projecting? Because it sounds like if this man is diligent enough to keep this going.
I think as his wife.
We stop it there. Go ahead. I was going to stop it there because I was going to stop it soon. But yeah, she's moving the goalposts. No, it's fine. No, we stopped it. So she's moving the goalposts. But she is moving the goalposts.
Wait, she started moving the goalposts way back, but she was like, the bills on your head. What happened? Okay, I'm still here. No, nobody said that the bills was on their head.
Sorry.
Bills come in, you pay them.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You bills come in, you pay them. Bills gonna come from somewhere. I don't care what you do. It come in, you pay it. That doesn't mean it's on your head. It's on your head when you can't pay it. Nowhere in what this woman said, this man wasn't paying bills. And if he's diligent enough to watch his father start this and then pick it up, and he been investing, keeping it going, you know what I'm saying, for however long it's been since he's had it, plus the time they've been together, I do not think that if something happened, this man wouldn't do what he needed to do to get it taken care of, even if it meant selling some of that. So see, they just making up stuff.
Well, okay, but it's fair.
You can send your son the math camp without selling off your family possessions.
I know that's a bad example. That's a bad example. But the truth of the matter is, the truth of the matter is, forget about her example. Steve's coming up with an extreme situation in order to say, you know, which puts him in question. And I agree with you. If that was the case, he would go to whatever assets he needs to go to make sure his family's taken care of. That's what most men would do.
Right.
I think who are in a relationship like that with young kids. I'd be surprised if he would say, okay, shit, we got to find another way to hang on to this thing, you know, because I don't want to sell any of this. So we're giving him the benefit of the doubt. Now, and if he refused then he's going to put her back up against the wall for certain
Mhm.
things, and then he could lose it all.
Mhm.
Well, at least half of it, you know. So, well, hey, you know, it's funny. You know, Lawrence talk about secret accounts and all that kind of stuff, and you know, it's so funny. So let's continue. So you hit this. That was the big question for this little segment, anyway. But let's keep going.
I
Okay.
would have more of an issue with that part. Like if the kids are going without something in some sort of way, versus her just, oh, I think we need that money. You know, it's a again the fact that they're not like struggling. I'm not pressed to side with her, but I think
Okay.
as a man, like real talk, if they were struggling, he gonna sit here and watch his family that he created struggle just so he
That's
can
a
hold on to
different
his little
conversation.
cards. I have a problem with
That's
that.
exactly
He's
right.
also
He's gonna
still
pass
going
it
to work
down.
though.
But he's gonna pass it
It's not
down.
like he's sitting on his ass. He's like he's helping make the bills get paid as well.
But you struggling.
But in her mind, she's struggling.
No. I'm saying as a family, they're struggling. I'm just saying that's
That
where
was-
How would they
those are
struggle? How
her
you know?
words. He could be fine
No.
with it though.
No. They're not struggling. What I'm saying, where I would have an issue with, is that if the family is struggling and barely making bills, and you on a payment plan for your electric bill, or your gas bill, or your water bill, or whatever, and we sitting on an asset like that, what's the purpose of having an asset?
I'd like to hear from him.
Like, I mean, fair
Me
enough.
too.
But again, I'm saying under the the understanding that it's because they're struggling, but they're not. She said it. They're not struggling.
So that's what I'm saying. She said they're struggling. Then she said we're not really struggling.
No, she didn't say they were
No, the
struggling.
word wasn't struggling. She just said paycheck to paycheck.
Paycheck. And I'm saying in his mind, he could look at that as like, this is what we're doing, and like this is the plan. We're going with the plan. And ain't nobody said they had another kid.
Wait.
You just had a 1-year-old, so
Oh yeah, I
that was
agree.
a joint decision.
I agree.
So they apparently had a plan, and part of the plan was we were going to work until, or I don't know what the plan was,
They
but
probably weren't paycheck to paycheck until the 1-year-old came.
Good
So-
point.
Well, I feel like cards aside, you're gonna have to figure it out anyway.
At some
Like,
point, yeah.
just forget you know about the cards.
I don't think there's figuring
What-
it out anymore. I think she's putting
No,
a
well,
plan
there
in
needs
place
to
that-
be a better income. There needs to be more money. If you're worried about, living paycheck to paycheck this bad, then a change needs to happen.
I'm saying that
Yeah.
that's from her side.
Her
A
side,
change needs to
yeah.
happen. He
Mhm.
could be in the middle of the plan right now. Listen, we had this plan, and this is what's going on. That's why I haven't sold my cards. I think maybe the compromise is I can sell some of them, but I'm not getting rid of my cards.
I don't understand why we even talking about. They don't know how to make money yet, so I don't.
And unless she comes to him with a plan of what they're going to do with the money,
Why would she be
says,
doing
"Hey,
that?
we
It's
wanna
not her
invest in A,
asset.
B, and C," then okay, now you have a plan. Now I'll listen to you. But if you're just talking about going to Dubai or something, or taking an extra vacation with stuff that you didn't have any part of, then no, I'm not doing that.
All right, but it's still a good point on that one. So the question really is, we already established that she can't unsee this card collection in her
Mhm.
mind. But the other part is, if she wants to get him to sell any of it or all of it or leverage it, she has to have something to make him inclined to say, okay, this is a good idea. So we could put it towards this investment or that investment. But if you just come to me saying, I want to live a little bit better, so let's spend it, he's not going to agree to that.
Nope.
But he might agree to something that could take the value of it and build some ROI elsewhere.
Mhm.
But that's not what she has in her mind, because there's nothing in it for her. Because the check until that other investment comes through is still going to be around. But it's a way of changing the value of a card collection into something that actually might come up with some more income, like a house or something like that,
Right.
or a rental property, So if she came to him with that would be a different discussion. But that's not a part of this scenario. But if I was her and I'm thinking about generating some more income, that would be the avenue. Hey, listen, here's a 2-family house for $500,000. Why don't we leverage this thing
Mhm.
and start to make income from that place, and then we can break off, pay back that loan, and then break off into another direction that could bring some more income into the house.
Yeah.
And
Now,
your tax
I'm
code.
all for that. If she was saying all of that before she found out how much this stuff was worth,
Right.
then yeah. But
We know that's not where she's coming from.
right, because therefore that could just be lip service. But I mean, if
I'm moving the goalposts just like the lady in the white hair, you
I mean,
know.
I mean, even if he was to sell it, unless he physically puts that money somewhere she can get her hands on it, what's she gonna do?
Well, is there any place he can really hide it now that they're married? I don't think so.
Well,
You know,
I mean, you can't hide the trail of it, but again, it's his collection. He goes somewhere and sell it. They cut him a check. He turn around, take that check, and immediately put it into something else.
okay.
Like he literally doing a turnkey at the bank. He get the check, he sign it over so and so. Boom! I'm in this investment now. What you
Yeah,
gotta sit back and wait.
I hear you. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so listen, from this point on, I was going to wait to the end of their conversation. I have 3 more questions. But if
Okay.
we want to stop it, if you want to stop it anywhere in the middle, I'll just try to make sure I do it. But so listen up to the end of this, and then we have 3 more questions.
For cushion.
I do have one question. My very simple question: where is he holding these cards? Because if you just holding them in your house, no,
Like
that's
it's getting taken.
no, not it's gonna get taken.
I'm like, it's getting snatched.
No.
I'll take 1 card
That's crazy.
for 2,000,
No.
please.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like you have this type of investment just sitting in your house.
Yeah, they're usually in boxes.
Not in even worse. Not in a safe deposit box somewhere, not in a storage where you have insurance, not somewhere that's actually safe. It's just in a, like you said, a box.
Right, house burns
in
down.
the basement.
So
House burns
does
down. Now what?
$75,000.
Not what? No, 75.
I don't know how much was
$2.5
it?
million.
Oh, that's what she said.
Yes.
Sorry, I just made that number up.
Mm.
That's crazy. That's a lot of
She
money.
said somebody's a drug addict over there too. So the house going to burn down because they were doing drugs and
Well, no. I mean, I'm just saying that because houses burn down all the time.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
So at a minimum, if he's gonna keep it and hold on to it, my recommendation is just protect it. Like put some insurance on it, get it out of your house, put it somewhere safe. There's plenty of these people that collect these things, so they gotta have like storage places or whatever somewhere. So
Sounds like an extra expense.
okay, we'll let the shit burn.
I mean, I hear what you're saying. I'm just saying, I feel like she's already got it in her mind that she's gonna have something to say about anything now that she knows about it. So now you can get insurance on stuff that we can't use, and I'm working hard to and we're working extra hard to put insurance on stuff that isn't for me. I'm just saying that's what I think is gonna happen. 'Cause
That's fair.
she's already in his head about it.
$1 million flies by when you got it. You could spend $1 million very easily, so easily. And like in her mind, she's thinking paycheck to paycheck is their current life by choice because he has $2.5 million worth of an asset that he can liquidate. But again, $1 million evaporates real fast, especially if you don't know how to manage it. So my thing is, the way I see it, she's looking at it as it's the golden ticket, but he's looking at it as this ain't shit. And
wait, he's looking at it as like the cards ain't nothing.
The value, like it's $2.5 million right now.
Meaning of what it can be.
Yeah,
okay.
Like in 5 or 10 more years from now, that $2.5 million could be double. In another 20 years from now, it could be triple.
Well, maybe he explained that to her. We don't know, but
I'm sure he had to keep them.
No, but in her mind, they're living paycheck to paycheck by choice. It's not necessarily because this is our situation and we got to do what we got to do. In her mind, they're consciously living this way, or he's consciously choosing to allow them to live this way because he has something that he can liquidate.
I think if things got hard and like you said, Rico, that's where I would have an issue. If like,
Now you choose.
Yeah.
Fuck the house. No, I'm keeping my It won't last 2 years, bro.
She's still gonna have a problem regardless. Now we broke and you ain't got nothing. You ain't
That's
got no
what I'm
cards and we
saying.
broke.
they're not making money now, and the thing
that's
is, when
why
people,
I said that they need another plan. Like cards aside, I keep saying cards. What are they? Books? Books aside.
It's called the collection.
Books. Goosebumps. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Neighbors to the store.
All right, so that's really the end of it. I got a couple of questions we could talk about, and then that's the end of the show. And I guess if we're still sticking around, because it's still, still early. But okay, so where is the best place to put a collection like that? Now, just Trey mentioned a fireproof safe, whatever, big, but that's one way. But the stuff is still in your house, right? I would imagine the burglars will have to find a safe. And if that was exactly what they were looking for, they're going to be there until they find it. So now can they get it out of your house? Is there a way to have it embedded where they can't really get it that easy? So
you could. Yeah, I'm with you, Coach. Safety deposit box.
I was going to say that.
What was the name of the what was his name? His father founded the Fountain Blue Hotel in Miami, and they did a movie about him. He actually got the first Batman, and his wife ended up killing him for the money. It's gonna come to me. Anyway, he had spent like 3 or 4, because he would collect all the different kind of stuff. He actually had the Batmobile from the series, and just all kind of stuff. And so he would spend $3 or $4 million a year protecting all of this stuff. So he did. He had some stuff in the safety deposit box. He had other stuff like in this fireproof safe that was like underground in his house, and he had some other stuff that was like in a whole different state from where he was. So I mean, depending on what it is and how you protect it is also gonna have a lot to do with its resale value. So we don't know again exactly what this stuff is, how this dude is protecting it. You know what I'm saying? If it is in his house and it's in your house, you got insurance, but did you put insurance on it? Because if the house go up and your policy only gonna pay you $500,000 max, you got $2.5 million worth of stuff that burned up.
Harmonize. Let me ask you this. If his wife is complaining about living check to check, you think she's going to want to invest in the insurance and pay extra money? Hell no. But some people talk about safe deposit box, right? Yeah. Suppose there's a run on the bank that you have your stuff in and you can't get to it. Now they have private brokers who might, protect your stuff, right? But that's going to cost you too. So no matter what they do to protect that, it's going to cost some money. Besides just buying a safe and locking it in there, because to insure $2.5 million, it's not going to be cheap.
This is true.
So there's a dilemma there, and if you already have a wife worrying about paying bills check to check, how are you going to sell her on paying something that she can't even take advantage of? So that's another thing. Okay, so so those are 2 questions. Sorry. Without a plan, how long do we think 2.5 million will last? If he liquidated it all, if you're a family of 4 and you don't invest any of that money, how long do we think that 2.5 million? You certainly ain't gonna live on it for the rest of your life.
That's what I'm saying. It depends again if you really get $2.5 million. So let's say you do get $2.5 million.
Okay.
Most women, the first thing we want a house. So depends on where they live and what kind of house she want. That could be half of it right there.
With a greedy wife, 18 months. Or
right, that could be half right there. Then you got the furnish it. So let's say that's another 150,000. You know what I'm saying? You gonna want a car to match the house. We gotta have a car match the house. So you can probably spend another 200,000 or so. I mean, you can look up and that money could really be gone. I could spend $2.5 million.
I'm hearing you. Now, let me say, I don't know if you got to go. Anybody wants to come up? I'm going to just drop the link for a second and see if anybody wants to come up and say their piece out loud. So the link is there in the chat for anybody who might want to come up and say a few things on what they saw, what they think. and you have to be on camera. That's a Black Man Unfiltered rule.
Hold
You
on.
know, so I try to stick by that as best I can. So in the meantime, so you are back. So anything else you want to say about this whole scenario?
Yeah. At this point, I don't think it's worth, because at this point, she on a fast track to trashing her marriage.
Okay.
Just in my personal opinion, I don't think it's worth it. Again, if it was something really going on, I'm just going off the men in my life and how they move. If it was something like my dad came for Christmas and he literally just left this morning.
Okay.
And he probably watching, hey daddy, if I mess around and fall out, he'll get something back, and whatever he got to do to get here and make sure I'm good, that's what he gonna do. So for me, I feel like this man is in the same place. So again, if they're not destitute, nobody's starving, you know, everybody has what they need, and you know what I'm saying, they're able to take care of their responsibilities. Let's sleep adults lie, man. Leave it alone. If it's something you really, really, really want, or something you really want to do, then have the conversation with him on how y'all can get that done. That's all I'm saying.
I got you. Hey, welcome, Trey Taylor. How you doing, man?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
What's going on? So I actually am a card collector. I literally just sent out 3 Jaden Daniels cards not too long ago to be graded that I got. I've been collecting cards since before I was in the military. So there's a few things that I need to correct. First of all, millionaire collectors, there's specific companies. One of the companies is named PSA. There's a few other companies where you can actually turn your collection over. You can get insurance for it, and they put it in a vault, so you don't even have it in your house. I guarantee you, if he has a $2.5 million collection, it's not in his home. And if it is in his home, he's an idiot. But it's not in his home. But given what I'm seeing, you know what? He might be an idiot, because there's no way in the world you get married with a car collection of that kind of value and not get a prenup first. You have to protect that. That is an asset. And I don't even know how we even get to this conversation without him securing his assets like that. But the entire thing is the moment that she found out, literally the moment she found out, his goose was cooked. He was done. There's nowhere to go from there, because she now knows. And this is why I know for a fact there was no prenup, because in a prenup, you have to identify all of your assets up front. You can't hide any of your assets, because if you do, that then makes the prenup null and void, and that they can contest it now because you were being dishonest about your assets. So she did not know, which means that for 5 years, at a time before they were dating, he did not tell her about the value. He probably told her, I collect cards, but he definitely did not tell you how much. He didn't tell her how much it was worth. Which is why she's thinking $2.5 million is not a lot of money, especially when you start to factor in inflation and cost of living over the next 10 to 15 years. $2.5 million is going to go up in smoke like that. And so I think that she sees it as, oh, this is a lot of money. I'm rich. And he's thinking this is nothing. Like, this is nothing. And although I'm thinking too, if he has kids, how do we know that he's not trying to save this collection to put his kids through college? Right? I know an antique car owner. He has an antique car. It's a nice collection, worth a little bit of money. He only sold it so he could put his kids through medical school. That's the only reason why he sold it. So how do we know that he's not thinking long term and he doesn't have a plan to actually sell it? And maybe he wants to save it for his kids. We don't know which direction they may go. They may go to medical school. They may want to go to law school. They may want to be an engineer, architect. We don't know. We don't know what kids want to do, right? So maybe he's thinking long term. But I'm telling you, the moment she found out it was worth $2.5 million, it's like Roger Rabbit with like the little dollar signs in the eyes, like she's thinking, oh my God, my life can be like this, but she doesn't understand that it won't be like that forever. Even if you added $50,000 a year to your current situation, which in their particular case will probably be a lot, it only lasts you 50 years. I don't know how old they are, but it only lasts you 50 years, right? So it just doesn't make sense. The best thing for him to do is, and it's my belief, she's going to divorce him because she's entitled to have. She's going to divorce him, and the judge is going to force him to sell at least $1.25 million of that collection, because he's going to have to liquidate, because that's what I believe she's going to do. But if it doesn't go down that route, don't sell any of it. You've been making it this far, you'll be fine. You'll be okay. She's going to have to suck it up. She'll just be mad. It is what it is. She probably won't let you touch it for about 6 months, but she'll get over it. You know what I mean? She'll get over it, but you do not sell it, because really what that is that's your retirement. That's your fallback on.
Right.
That's opportunity.
Right.
That too, yeah, absolutely. It's your opportunity. It's something for you to fall back on, right? And if he is in comics and he's in like Pokemon, in that world right now, in the hobby right now, R-Pain, it is on fire.
Yeah,
I mean, we're
man.
talking about the guy Logan Paul. I know you,
Yeah.
the Paul guy, got a podcast. He was wearing a Pokemon card on WWE. He was worth $1 million.
Wow.
That hobby space right now is on fire. So if that's what he's collecting, he's probably sitting. It's probably going to be a little bit more within the coming year or two. So he's got to hold tight. He's got to sit tight if he can. I have a funny feeling that she's going. She's all. I don't trust. I believe she's probably already talked to a divorce attorney. It's a plot. The plot has already begun, in my opinion.
She's
already probably met with a divorce attorney.
That's funny, man. Okay. Hey, well, you know, I there's no argument. I mean, he's wide open. Based on the information that we have, his life is wide open to his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And based on the way marriages go, he's in danger. Whether it happens or not, he's in a danger zone. You know, the bullet. She's definitely got the loaded gun. And we can't argue that. So,
and this is why it's so important. If you're going to get married, if you are absolutely dead set on getting married, you have got to have your paperwork done, and you have to look at this like it is a business. For whatever reason, as men, we are stupid and we want to be in love. Oh, I love her, and not my girl, and she ain't gonna do this to me. You know what I mean? And all that. Yes, she will. Yes, she will. You have to understand something about women, and it's not a diss. I'm not hating on women. This is just biologically ingrained in them. Stability. They seek stability in any form, in any fashion. They are going to go after it, even if it means they have to go get it themselves. If they have to go get it themselves, if they have to go build $1 million nest egg, they're going to go do it. It's built in them. So if you put something in front of them that can offer them stability, they more than likely 9 times out of 10 will take it. You have your occasional woman who's like, no, yeah, I'm not that type of woman. Of course, nothing's ever absolute, right? But majority of women, if you put that stability in front of her and say, hey, this is life-changing money. Do you want it? Man, these women out, man, go to Miami, go to Atlanta, go to Las Vegas, go to LA, here in DC, New York. These women selling their souls for stability, right? Selling their souls just to get a little bit of money.
Right, but they're not stable though, Trey. They don't never end up stable.
Well, that's the trick. That's the trickery, Almond Eyes, is they think it's stable. And it's because they have an abundance mentality. So they think there's always going to be more money to come. And, well, I just keep doing this and I'm going to get more money. They don't realize that eventually the tap will turn off. They don't understand that. But in her particular case, she's looking at the tap. It's right there in front of me. It's 2.5 million. She knows it. You know, it's just one of those things like, guys, we have to do the thinking. We want to blame the women for everything. Oh, the women, but we aren't doing our part. Use your head. You've been collecting for 25 years. This was passed down to you from your father. Use your head. Hey, baby, I love you. Look, there's something I got to tell you. I got to tell you something. It's, you know, I do my little card collecting thing. I know you think this is just a little weird little hobby I got. It's actually worth millions of dollars. So before we get married, you know what I mean? Before we get married, I'm gonna need you to sign these documents because I can't have you take this from me because we've been working for it. We've been working for it for 25 years. What'd you say, Omar?
Y'all said when she gonna lose it. Yo, women already don't. We don't like anything that we can perceive as distrust. So most women, as soon as you mention prenup, oh, you don't trust me. Oh, you don't love me. You don't want to take care of me. So again, that he would have to present that in a different manner. Don't tell her it's worth. This is what he should have done. Don't tell her it's worth millions of dollars. Just tell her, you know what I'm saying? My father started this. It means a lot to me. If anything happened, I just want to make sure that it's protected. Leave that part out because again, she's not gonna sign it if she know it's millions of dollars she can't get.
Yeah, Almanaj, you're absolutely correct. Like I'm a little bit more forward. I'm a little bit more forward and direct.
I want to keep it in the family and keep it moving.
No.
All we hear is you don't trust me and you looking for a way out. Prenup. That's all we hear.
I 100% agree with you. I am just a piece
Well,
of shit. I would have just said it that way, right? But I agree with you. You definitely got to finesse her. You got to finesse a little bit and definitely say, hey, look, this is for the kids. You know what I mean? This I want to have something to pass down to the girls or something. You definitely got to finesse it. You got to put a little sugar on it. I'm just built out of salt, so I'm a little bit different.
Okay, well, with sugar, let me say this. You don't think she's going to be ferreting through the fact that you're trying to sugarcoat the fact that you don't trust her ass and you want the money to go to the kids? I mean, she's gonna read through that too, right? It might be better.
I mean, if you can find a way to keep, like Oman I said, if you can find a way to keep the equity portion out of it, if you can find a way to keep the equity portion out of it, because remember, but the problem is if it's in a prenup, she's going to know because you have to disclose it. You got to disclose it.
True. But then you have time to, since I'm talking about women today. Anytime, let me stop referring back to my grandma, my mom, and all them. Okay. Women today, we want to build with you. We want to, you know what I'm saying, we equal partners. We ain't really going into no marriage. We going into a partnership. While you presenting them papers, you got time, you know what I'm saying, to get her on board with the we gonna build. It don't matter because what we gonna build gonna be worth way more than this. This gonna be changed by the time we build what we got to build. So if you got her going down that road, she like, oh man, that little change, you had that, and we're gonna keep on moving. You got your paper signed.
Absolutely.
You daddy ain't mad, and y'all can go on with your life.
Yeah, you definitely hit it with the list. This little 2.5 ain't nothing. This
right. What we gonna do is we gonna have this.
We taking this up to 10, 15 mil. This ain't nothing.
Right.
Don't that little 2.5. Just sign them papers. Just sign them papers. Don't worry about that little 2.5.
But somehow. Go ahead.
I mean, but you gonna have to be nice with it though. You definitely gotta finesse. Yeah, you gotta finesse, but you also one thing. You gotta have your timeline together. You cannot be trying to bring this up 2 weeks for the wedding.
Oh no,
2 months for the wedding. You need at least 9 months. At least say 6, but I've seen some of them 6 months to go up in smoke. 9, because you need time to get her mind right. Well, no, you need time. She gonna be mad. You gotta wait for her to get over that. Then you need time for you to get the document to her, for her to have her lawyer take a look at it. Anything they want to argue about, you know what I'm saying? Y'all have your meeting about that. If you change something, you do that. But you need time. Because the closer you get to the signing and the nuptials taking place, the easier it's gonna be for somebody to be like, this ain't working for me.
The partnership thing is good too, because I can say, listen, we're in a partnership. We ain't in no real love marriage. So this is our part of the partnership, and that's your part of the partnership. Let's sign this partnership agreement. Just what's mine is mine, and whatever you have over here is yours. And let's just kind of,
Well, I mean, look, but in my anecdotal experience, you may not come with that. Maybe if y'all came with that and be like, look, all this love, this ain't
we're in the partnership. Look, that's what you wanted, right?
I like you a little bit. We can do this, like. But don't sell the love and then come slap in the face with the, you know what I'm saying? I don't want you to have nothing.
I got something serious.
You have to give them something. You can't just come up with the I'm gonna give you nothing and I don't want nothing from you. Like you gotta throw something in there. Especially
I got something for both of y'all though. I got something for both of y'all. Isn't this the reason why men have to be somewhat hypergamous themselves? These kind of things where forget about finding a woman in Wendy's and shit and all that kind of stuff.
You shouldn't be doing it. If you got something to lose, I'm a woman and I'm gonna be for you shouldn't be doing that. That don't make sense.
They still do that though, right?
They do. And then when they end up on the slab or somewhere with their money missing because the boyfriend done ran up in the house and tied them up. Y'all remember that Biggie Smalls, I got a story to tell. That happened all the time. You ain't having to deal with her. But y'all, this is what I want, and I got the optics, and she got the ass, and she got this, and she got that, and then you know what I'm saying? Her boyfriend pulling up the floorboard and you got your $250 cash while you tied up. Now you crying. You gotta. I'm not saying go red pill, you know what I'm saying, rage and just be completely like, non-negotiable. But you shouldn't be somebody who is on an upward trajectory and you got a proven track record of success looking for chicks at the Wendy's. You should not be doing that.
I hear you.
I'm just saying, if you want burger chicks, at least go to Five Guys. I'm just saying.
Here's the thing, Arpain. Men can't be hypergamous, right? Not the multitudes of men cannot date up when it comes to women, because majority of the women don't make that kind of money, right? Medium Man, I don't know if you guys watch Medium Man, but he did a great video about the Bureau of Labor Statistics and the salaries that just came out. It was showing, who makes what or whatnot. So men don't really have that opportunity because most men of every ethnic background make more money than the women. As a matter of fact, all of them make more money than the women, right? So we don't really have that option. However, I will say this. You do need to start to date women that have something to lose.
There you go.
They have to have something to lose, right? So it's okay for her to have her own house, because if she has her own house, she won't want to take yours. You know what I mean? Like, men have to start to think like that, right? If she has a good job, that's great, because she won't want to lose it. She won't want to leave it and then come spend all your money. So there is something to it. I get where you're going, but I don't think you can be hypergamous. But you for certain absolutely need to start to date women who absolutely have. She has to.
Yeah. There it is. I mean,
long gone are the days of the girl, the cute girl at the McDonald's and all that, the Chick-fil-A. That damn day, we're so past that. We're so past that. You could be cute at the McDonald's, but baby, you broke. Like, and let's just move on. And Chris Brown got a whole song talking about what he won't do for a broke bitch. So we already, we're past those days. You gotta have. It doesn't mean she has to have a lot of money. My thing is always, like I said, my ex is, what do you have to lose? Okay, if you lost your job, are you gonna be solely looking at me? Or just okay, well then that could be a problem, right?
Right.
Or
do
are you in a position
that you can leverage to do something else?
Exactly. And where's your hustler's mentality? Where's your hustler spirit? Right. But the problem is everything's a trade-off. Harmonize, you know about that. Everything's a trade-off. So yeah, you get that type of woman that has a hustler spirit, but then what type of woman are you getting now? You know what I mean? So everything's a trade-off.
I mean, honestly, it's a hard balance, especially when you enter into a relationship. Because I mean, single, you can make some compromises that you can live with, but in a relationship, your partner might not be able to live with it as easily or if at all. So yeah, again, you got to be able to.
So it's not easy.
You need transferable skills to where you can always be of value. Let me put it like that.
Well, that's why the motivation and intentions on both is really important these days, and you got to ferret that out, man, because you got to want to be flexible. Nobody can make you want to be. You got to do that on your own for the person that you're looking at, both men and women. You got to want to be, because
this is true.
It's going to happen. I mean, and for y'all to get together, depending on your age, you're going to be bending somewhere. They're going to be bending somewhere. Wherever that is going to be different for every couple, but somewhere you're going to have some kind of compromise that you got to be willing to live with. You really do. It can't be a red flag, but there's something in there, So anyway, but that's it. Eddie, I don't know, Harmonize, you got some final thoughts on tonight or whatever? But let Trey go first. Got any extra thoughts on what we heard, Trey?
This is a brilliant case study on why not to get married. So as if you need any more sticks, as if you need any more fuel or gas to the fire there. Yet another story showing why. And here's the thing, because somebody was asking me earlier about why are men so scared? Because it isn't all men. Like, it isn't all women that do this. And I agree, right? I nothing is absolute, so it's not everyone. But I try to explain to them, you try to understand the way of the world now and the programming that comes along now, right? So everybody's watching TV and everybody's watching social media, and this is what they see. So if the only thing that the algorithm keeps showing them is guys getting effed over in the divorces, what's that going to do? Right? And so when you have stories like this that come out, no matter, you would need 100 great stories of marriage just to dilute this one bad story. And unfortunately, the algorithm doesn't show that, doesn't show all the great marriages, right? Like you did a whole video one night of, you know, how of your wedding, right, Arbang? Yeah, but we need 100 more of those to get rid of just this one dilute, you know, this one bad story. So you guys see this and like, dang, you know, maybe, you know, I've been working on something for years and I don't want to lose it. And no matter how much we keep screaming to them, stop being in love and start being in business, because the women are in business. And I'm not hating on the women at all. I just think they're smart. I said this before, I think the women in some cases are just a lot smarter than the men. Honestly, if you really go back in history, there's only been one gender that hasn't had to fight no wars. You tell me who's the smart ones here. Men dying left and right, 30, 40 years old, 25 years old, 19 years old, and the women chilling. Somebody's smart here. So I think we have to start looking at this and saying we have to start playing the game the women play the game. And you got to come to the table and say, hey, look, I got this, I got that, I got this, I got that. And I want to be with you, but I ain't trying to lose all my ish. I don't want to lose all this stuff. And I need you to sign right here, initial here, and put the date here. Okay. and we need to move on. And if that's not something she's willing to do, then you have to have the same mentality that most women have, which is an abundance mentality. Okay, well then I'm gonna have to try with somebody else because it's not gonna work with her. But I'm not going to sacrifice everything I worked for prior to being with you because you want to go off and go party with your boyfriend in the Maldives somewhere on my dime.
On my dime.
That's not yeah, on my dime. No, you gotta do the paperwork. So it's not that men shouldn't get married. It's that men aren't looking at it the same way. If you take the same attitude, we probably won't have these problems. Because there are a lot of celebrities and stuff that get married, they have prenups. We don't even hear about their divorces most times. Right. Because the prenup is so, it's just like, it's ingrained. It's like, dang, y'all got divorced? Dang, that went smooth. Well, that's because they had a prenup. So there was nothing to talk about. There was no drama involved in it. You know what I mean? Where somebody was getting $256,000 a month and all that. There was nothing to talk about because they had already worked that out. So we need to start encouraging men, even if you don't have the asset yet, you need to sign the paperwork because you will work towards it. Remember, men make more money as they get older. Majority of the millionaires are in their 50s, right? So if you get married at 24, you'll say, well, I didn't get a prenup because I didn't have anything. But that's bad advice because you're going to gain value and equity as you get older, right? And yeah, you're going to gain it with her, but you guys could have already worked out how this dissolves if you guys decide to get a divorce. You could have worked it out when you was 24 rather than working it out when you're 50 and she has all the leverage now at 50 because, well, she quit her job to have your 3 big-headed ass kids. So she quit her job. Right? No, I'm serious. That puts her in a position of leverage now. The judge will say, well, she quit her job to take care of your kids. So she has to be compensated for that. You know what I mean? That's how it works. So if you work it all out in the beginning, even though you don't have any assets, you know, hey, if we get divorced, we're splitting it, we're selling the house and we're splitting it. We already know that off the top, right? It's much easier that way. So we got to reprogram men to get out of their hearts and get more into their heads. A good topic though.
All right, man. Thanks for showing up, man. I appreciate it. Almond Eyes, what you got? Listen, I appreciate you coming up. You know, I need some elevation on the show anyway, so I appreciate the woman's point of view. It came out of nowhere, came back, you know. So this is a great night. But go ahead.
YouTube prison was something. Child, listen, they was all over me. But to go back to something Trey was saying, I don't think it's reason not to get married. It's an example of what happens when you don't get married correctly. So again, and having, like Trey said, having that conversation, I got this going on, but I anticipate this happening. So, in the course of this happening, we're going to be here, but, I want to make sure that, my foundation, is protected. That's going to, keep you in your upward trajectory thought process, the mindset. Plus, that's gonna let you know what kind of chick you're dealing with.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because if because my thing is, by the time you start talking about, I had a man tell me, he was like, I'm not gonna ask no chick to marry me. Well, I'm not 1,000% sure she gonna say yeah, and we on the same page. So if you get to that point where you talking about getting married and she done said yeah, and now you on the prenup, you should already know that this is really not going to be that difficult of a conversation. I mean, it might be a little touchy, you know. We might, you know, need a minute, be like, dang. But I mean, it shouldn't be, you flying off the handle, and I don't want you no more. You know, if you doing all of that, then you wasn't in this the way you was supposed to be in it in the first place. So you should be able to. You should be able to get it done. If you can't get it done, you don't need to say I do. Because again, the basis of this is communication.
I agree.
Because then for both of you, it's the opportunity for you to stand on who you said you was when y'all got together. Because as the woman, you should understand, okay, well, he's making these 6 figures, and he's trying to do this, and he wants to have this conglomerate or whatever, yada yada yada. You in the back of your mind, you should know, okay, yeah, he's gonna be trying to make sure I don't blow all of this up. So he's gonna hit me with the prenup at some point. So it shouldn't be just stunned and it's just all out the blue. So y'all, black people, black men, get married, marry us, but just do it correctly. That's all.
You got
just do it correctly.
Yeah, that's funny. Say, listen, this is the first video I ever watched full through of 8 at the Table.
Really?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I couldn't stomach some of those.
They kind of.
I said, "Oh God, I don't want to watch this." So I was just happy they came up. But anyway, thanks to the chat and A Team, and he said, Mr. He said was here. Highway 20. I mean, everybody lit. Everybody went by. It was a good conversation. So yeah, so now I know I can reach out to you. Maybe we'll come and collab on something else.
Okay.
Feel free. You got my email and stuff like that. We'll do something. I'm here every Monday at 7. And everybody out there, thanks for putting up a good conversation in the chat. Harmonize, I appreciate it. Trey Taylor, I appreciate it. And for that, I'll say good night to everybody. All right.
Yeah.